All right, we appear to be live. Suppose I should check notifications and what have you. Okay. That's the Twitch notification. Great. Okay, so a little bit of a shorter stream today because I didn't get started till late because I was doing some video editing stuff. But I got a lot of work done today, so that's good. I think we need to work on the genome because, like, right now, let's just start with an overview of last session, right? Big thing from last session, we did this. We rescaled this, we formatted these correctly, and we made it so these are actually processed, added to the character, and then scale up if the same thing comes up again. Tier 2 of 3 now, because we took Steel Trap 1. So that was the big achievement. So now that the leveling on the passives works, we need to do attacks, and we need to do the actual proper, like, level up, like, set, like the move set, whatever you want to think of it as, because that is like a hard-coded example, right? So we started working on defining it somewhere. Excuse me. I just ate, so I might have a little coughing here and there. Gotta clear my throat. Trying to remember where we defined this. We should probably clean that up. Genetic info? Yes. So we've defined a set of male chromosomes and female chromosomes. These are currently all filler. That we need to populate these. And the question is, how do we want to populate these? We don't have enough stuff to do it, but I would like to test this, I guess. We've got attacks, we've got passives. That is essentially the core functions we need for this. I think I should implement this properly, too. Is there a find replace in this? No. Okay, I can leave these as filler. And then when I populate these, I can define them however I want to define them, I guess. Each of these chromosomes has a different definition. I might want my spreadsheet info in the game rather than in my spreadsheet. My development spreadsheet. Also, let's grab our base values here from the code. So when we generate the animal here, 105, 130, 110. 105, 130, 110, 80, 100. And we got the growth rates 35323. We have traits. We have lifespan genes, bonus stat growth, base attack gene. What other information do we have here? We have a stamina rate of 3, metabolic rate 7, movement speed of 1.25. We got Lamarckian genes. We've got our length and weight. Do I define a length and weight in here? Not currently. I don't know if age was the lifespan. Kind of irrelevant. And passives and flex gene slots on every other thing. I think we should define this particular slot as some sort of non-flex thing. I even had ideas for this, and I just can't. I don't exactly recall. Like, stress rate could be a thing. Demeanor. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. Let me uncover the chat. Hey, Cryo, how's it going? JPR with no transport? That's not a thing we can do, huh? That's too bad. Is my game coming before GTA 6? Probably not. I would be very surprised, but I mean, who knows? Maybe it'll keep getting delayed. Could be a thing. So I guess we'll define these here. So this is health base, comma, passive. When is the vein stream? Tomorrow. Wednesdays are vein. Damage base, comma. That's 1. Accuracy base. Oops. Damage growth. Defense growth. Could, like, can I make you VIP? I don't know. I can ban you. That's all I see. I would probably have to do something special to make you a VIP, so we're not gonna figure that out. 5. Why do I keep missing the second T on trait? What is that about? Bonus trait. Pass 6. Bonus stat growth. Pass 6. Oops. Do I live in Denver? No. Why would you think I live in Denver? Wait a second. Oh, I skipped ahead. Why I put 6? Because I skipped a bunch of lines. Trait 1, 2, 3, lifespan 1, 2, 3, bonus stat. So this should be here. I look like a Denver person. What in the... How does that work? How does anybody look like a Denver person? Not even like a Coloradan. Like a Denver person. Lifespan 3, passive 6. Big beard, long hair. You know what? You're not as far off base as I might have given you credit initially. You might have a slight point. These are all attack and flexes. One through 6 times 3 flex. This goes till we get to the last, like, 38. Gene 38. Like, 38 should be new. Is there snow outside? No. It snowed for 1 day and then it melted. That's all that's happened so far. Currently nothing. I need a better name for that. Do I know who Stephen King is? Yes. I've read maybe 5 or 6 of his books. Your favorite is It. I don't know if I can't remember if I read It. I don't think I read it. I think I might have only read The Stand and then like the first, I don't know, 4 or 5 Dark Tower books. Oh, and The Mist. The Mist slaps. Both the movie and the book. I like The Mist. Okay, so that's what the gene template is. So you have two, these values have two, and then you average between, except for attacks and passives, it's dominant versus recessive. Did I watch the old It movie? Yes. The Tim Curry one? I've seen that. I've seen the new one too. I didn't watch the new show because I don't really give a shit. There's merits to both of the It movies. Well, the original miniseries and the new movie both have their merits. The new sequel, like It Chapter 2 or whatever, is lackluster, but Chapter 1 is pretty good from what I remember. I don't really feel all that strongly about it overall. Okay, so we have these defined dominant and recessive traits, both in the forms of attacks and passives. This is not enough. We need some more. These all tier. Okay, yeah, so let's look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, 14.7 is accurate. Uh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on stagger, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. This is 13.6. Now, how many do we actually need? Stephen King Jurassic, that, yeah, those are not compatible, per se. Well, I guess they're not incompatible, but I don't know why you would bring up that specifically. Um, so if we have 14 and 7, that's 21 attacks times 3 tiers, gives us a total of 63 genes, I guess you would say. "19 passives times 3 tiers, 57 genes." Yeah, it's not the most ridiculous thing, but like Stephen King horror is different than like Michael Crichton horror. Michael Crichton is like techno thriller horror. It's not really the same thing. Stranger Things season 5 is coming tomorrow. Yeah, I knew it was coming. I didn't know when. I'll probably watch it, but I'm not like invested. I don't really care that much. So if we're looking at the attack slots and the flex slots, well, I think I have that already. Yeah. Uh, we need essentially. How do I? Oh, I think I'm just. Yeah, 68. 68 genes for passives and attacks combined. 67 minus the basic attack, which should not be on this list. I think it's kick. Yeah. So 67 genes in a genome, 67 attack passive genes in a genome, plus the basic. The book is really gory. I mean, which book? Are we talking It or are we talking Jurassic Park? Also, I feel like a book can't really be gory, personally, because it's not visual. I mean, it can be violent. It can have a lot of violent shit, but gory to me feels like a visual thing. I suppose it would be gory if you made it into a movie directly as it was in the book, right? So I suppose there's a point to that. Okay, so 67. If we wanted, I guess we just need to kind of double that, honestly, would be good. So like let's call it roughly 130 to 140. So we want 130 to 140 attacks plus passives. Well, and then we need the tiers. So maybe we do like 45 abilities. That splits the difference right down the middle. But if I'm splitting it 2 to 1, I mean, this is all roughly. This doesn't have to be perfect. You bet I was afraid of Pennywise as a kid? No, I was never really afraid of clowns. I disliked E.T. That was the shit that got to me. That's about the only thing that got to me as a kid. What dinosaur would I like to be killed by? None. I guess if I have to die, it's something quick. Maybe get stepped on by a brachiosaur. Just get vaporized. Nah, E.T. is the little gremlin. He's horrible. He's a horrible testicle alien. So, 21 attacks would be... Yeah, close. I guess the other consideration here is specifically we have 6 attacks included. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, Gremlins is a classic for sure. They're finally allegedly making Gremlins 3, but it won't be the same without Joe Dante, so. Read the name of the kid gremlin? Oh, the kind gremlin in the movie. You mean Gizmo? Gizmo the Mogwai? So if we keep if this is all the attacks we do, 21 attacks, then we need like roughly 24 passes. So we need like 5 more passive abilities to add. So we'll call it 6. So um oh no, because the 2-1 split is not preserved here correctly, actually. Because we're already +1 on the dominant. So it would be 24. Yeah, 16 and 8. So we need +2 recessive, +2 recessive, +3 dominant. So currently, all the passives are combat orientated, but they don't necessarily need to be because there is a situational advantage to things that like level you up faster. Well, Gizmo never eats after midnight, right? Like Gizmo's aware of his transformation and deliberately avoids situations that would cause him to transform, right? Whereas the other Mogwai want to become gremlins, which is why they engineer situations where they can become gremlins. Okay, so what new passives should we cook up? I was thinking about some training passives. Hey, Ali, how's it going? Well, the ones with fur are the Mogwai. They're the gremlins when they morph and they don't have fur anymore. All right. So I think we'll do like maybe some dominant training passives that provide 1, 2, 3 bonus to stat on train. Actually, that might be +3 per training round is kind of a lot of extra stat gain. But you are taking up a passive slot. The second movie is very different than the first Gremlins. They're both very good for different reasons. It really depends what you want to get from it. The second one is much more of a straight comedy. A very elaborate satirical one at that. Your school mistreated you, damn. This is perhaps part of why I never tried to become a professor. So what happened? So I guess this doesn't need to be perfectly balanced like right now. We can just code it in, who cares? Um yeah, we'll do a stat growth bonus and a stress reduction on a particular drill. I should be a scientific. Do you mean I should be a scientist? You're right. I should be a scientist. But I'm not currently. Because the job market is dead in the US. So we'll do whatever is best growth here. They're attack, and then we defined them as oh, I didn't put them here, they're in the spreadsheet. Hold on. Move to Canada. I have looked for jobs in Canada too. It's not much better. Like the problem is a lot of the kind of jobs I look for are things that are predominantly in the US. You know, if I'm looking for aerospace jobs, a lot of like data science type stuff, there's a lot more of that in the US. So, yeah, if Trump got stopped being the president, it might help improve the job market, but a lot of the damage has already been done by him. So, who knows? Leaving once you're done with your 5 year limit because the job feels like being married to an abusive wife. I can see that. When I was TAing in the university, it just Like you could just kind of see the abuse heaped on like associate professors and teaching assistants and oh, you know, all the lower rung people. So you got to do all the work. Sorry. The smell of blood in here? Because that's on the bottom of my spreadsheet. I might not have added that one to the list. No, it's right there. Okay. So yeah, we're doing damage, defense, and health. No, I did not go to Harvard. I went to the first grad school that would take me. This is why I went to Iowa. Corn country. What do we name these? Iowa is an Iowa. It's a state. Just like Ohio is a state. You don't have TAs? TAs did a lot at my university, but there was also an arrangement where every grad student was getting paid, so they had to have things available for every student to do. So there was kind of a, you know, omnidirectional thing there. Benefit by having TAs help with class load on professors, but also, you know, it's um, career building for the people who are doing the TAs to learn how to teach, and also is a way they earn their paycheck while they're in school. Yeah, you just have, yeah, a handful of provinces. Yeah. 50 states isn't that bad. You get used to it. Name one province in Canada. Alberta, British Columbia, Yukon. That's one. That's all one. uh, what do I name these? Saskatchewan, Ontario, Ontario. How do you Ontario? Ontario, Ontario. Wrapping up the campaign. It wraps up like oddly quickly, I feel. Like it feels like a lot of the middle part of the campaign maps are kind of the longest ones, which is not how I would have designed it. The GW3 campaign crowd. Check the YouTube chat on the screen. We got conversations going in two directions. It's up to the viewers to keep track of the crosstalk between Twitch and YouTube. I do what I can. It's too tiny? Zoom it in. What are you on your phone? I guess we could just call these like specialization, like damage specialization. I feel like these should be recessive though, if anything. Maybe I should make these the recessives. Maybe we do like only two of these. Because these actually kind of feel like a big deal, potentially, getting these bonuses to your stat training. I think we'll add these to the recessive tier. So then we still need 3 more passes for the dominant gene tier. Yeah, the campaign overall is quite good. Should do talking stream like just chatting. That's kind of what these are. I mean, on Twitch, it's literally just chatting, the category, so. What do we do for 3 new dominant traits? We could do stress management or lifespan stuff. It's not really... It's not really, like, that impactful for the vertical slice. We could do, like, stoicism. Just like a passive that reduces stress gains. Buildings don't get destroyed. Do they not? Or is it just because you don't have the capability to, like, do it automatically? Cryo. Yeah, honestly, the JW2 campaign was like the huge mistake. The real mistake was calling it a campaign. If they would have approached JW2 and they would have called that a tutorial and they would have had like the chaos theories be the campaign in quotation marks, it probably would have went over a lot better. The problem with 2 was like they tried to kind of do a campaign like they did in 1, but they just didn't commit to it, so they didn't take it far enough. And that was largely probably due to Dominion getting pushed back, but like they should have worked around that better. All right, so we'll do stoicism. We need 2 more. Ideas. What other things could we interact with here that are not direct combat? We could do like specializations, like things that boost status effect specializations. I mean, lead specialization. Hmm. We already have a lot of stuff that like builds off of blood. Yeah, it's not a particularly good tutorial either, but I mean, I don't know. I think the tutorial and aspects of 3 are also a little weird because like there's tutorial things you hit on like Island 5, which is strange. I feel like the tutorial part of 3 could have been tightened up, but like 3 is still objectively just better. I never used like the damaging building stuff. I never did like abandoned parks, that kind of thing. I don't know if I like the idea of doing like a bleed specialization. I want these passives to not be too elaborate either. They should be relatively easy to implement for this vertical slice. Did I implement counterattack stuff? We had that, right? Hold on. I might actually have some other ones in here. implemented in the dictionary. Yeah, thorny hide. I think these are all included except for thorny hide. I think that's the only one that was new. Next species in JW3 is Tyrannosaurus. It seems plausible that it could be at least the next free one, right? Because we probably get a paid DLC before we get the next free animal. But yeah, I think you're probably right. I think Tyrannosaurus makes a lot of sense to follow Kentro. Yeah, True Grit, Star Strong, Long Game, Aggressive, Enduring. What about... How about bonus stamina? Hey, Rugops, how's it going? We'll have a out the gate passive. Begin with extra stamina. Yeah, there's definitely things that need to be explained, as you can tell from the video looking at the attraction bonuses and penalties, which they are technically told to you in the game, but not in a way that makes it clear they actually matter. But yeah, it's still doing better than 2 on not obscuring some stuff, at least. You are currently the only one on Twitch chatting, yes, Cryo. But you're not the only person that uses Twitch in general. Do I think my new revelation on GW3 will affect the game at all? Yeah, I don't think it matters. Like, it should matter. Like, the fact that an attraction can double the appeal of a large carnivore should be a huge impact. But the game is piss baby easy, so I don't think it matters that much. It's something that I'm going to take into account when I retune the game, though. So whenever we get around to making our sandbox challenge mode mod, like, I'm really glad I found this out so that I can kind of balance around it. Do I think Evo has watched my vids? No, never. I don't think I am even remotely on anybody's radar. That's not entirely true. The only person's radar I might vaguely be on is Best in Slot because he covered one of my mods back in GWE2. You do not. Okay, here there's 2 things wrong with this crowd. One, don't go to other people's channels and tell them to watch somebody else. 2, I highly doubt anybody who's making JWE content is watching a lot of other people make JWE content. So there's like 2 angles that are wrong with that. Just in general, don't go in telling people to do shit. But also, I highly doubt Evo or Best in Slot or any of them watches other people's like park bills and shit. All right, we need one more passive. Do I think it's the sloppy leftovers of a mechanic that was scrapped late in development? No, I think it's a fully implemented mechanic. I don't think it's leftovers. I think it's intended. I think it's part of the design space. It's just not communicated to the player very well. The only argument I would make for it being Like, I think it's a very intentional part of development, but I do think it's another angle in which the aviaries and the lagoons are undercooked, right? Because the lagoons and aviaries um have almost no bonuses from attractions, which is very strange. Like, it doesn't make sense that there's no way to optimize a mosasaur in the way you can optimize a tyrannosaurus for double appeal. It's very weird. So I don't think it's a leftover mechanic. I think it's like 90% implemented, right? I think it's just that the lagoons and the aviaries were left behind, and maybe they planned to do more work on them, but they certainly didn't do it in time. So I'm not talking about Swerve. We're not doing this again. Yeah, yeah, but like it not adding much guests to the park, we don't know to what degree that matters when it's more than one animal, right? Like, we would have to look a lot closer at how guests are calculated to understand like the nonlinear nature of how much that matters. The thing to do would be to take a complete 5-star park, and then we change all the attractions to inferior versions, and then we see how much of a difference in star rating it makes. I think, actually, let me write that down. We're going to do that as part of a project. Um, because I think that'll be interesting. Actually, let's add that to a text document so I don't lose it. Because then we can actually see in a real park how much of a difference it makes versus one animal. But there's definitely something weird with like the way amenities are calculated that makes them like non-linear and like strange. So that's also just another like thing to investigate and figure out like what is happening. Um, so when we'll do a sandbox build. Like, we're gonna do a sandbox test build, um, just to get a sense of like the economy balance of sandbox as it starts before we mod it. And I think we'll make that also our science experiment where we switch from like good attractions to bad ones and see what it does to our appeal ratings, like through a full park. So we'll get the 5 stars with good attractions, optimized attractions, and then we'll use deliberately like just galleries, and then maybe we'll even switch it to like deliberately the worst to see how much of a change it actually makes. Because it is weird, because like the star rating appeal thing is the base appeal, not the displayed appeal. The displayed appeal only matters for the economy calculations. It's very weird. Yeah, like it definitely looks like a rounding error with just the giga kind of, but I think it'll matter more in a full park. But it's just a question of, is it like a 2% difference instead of a 1% difference, or is it actually like substantial? Why can't you customize your shop in JW3? I don't know. I'm not there to hold your hand. I have no idea why you can't do it. All right. Notes made for that park build eventually. Very little reason to use anything but the default galleries. I mean, essentially maybe, but like we'll see. We'll see. I'm not gonna speculate on exactly how this affects a 5-star park. We'll do this as a science project, just not for a little bit. Actually, we might be able to do it. We might be able to play with it a little bit in the challenge modes too when we're done, because we 5-star the challenge mode and then we just play with the attractions a little bit and see what kind of difference it makes. But I'm most interested in seeing how it reacts in a proper sandbox park, because that'll be, long term. That is the only game mode we have. So yeah, we'll do some experimenting next challenge mode at least a little bit. We'll start to figure this out. All right, we need one more passive still. Let's not get distracted. What should our Carnotaurus be able to do passively? Hmm. Don't know. We've got enough stuff that already next with stamina. I don't really want to do that. We could do movement modifiers. You know what? That could be decent. How about we call it, I don't know, hustle. Like 10, 20, 30% movement. Um, sure. Why not? Okay, so that gets us everything we need to randomize the genome spread. Let's go add these passives to the passive dictionary before we forget. Add randomized islands to custom challenge mode when that becomes a thing. Yeah, yes. I too hope they do that. That custom challenge mode comes back. I hope that custom challenge mode comes back with better balancing they had in the last game. And yeah, randomized islands should be a cornerstone of that. 100%. My dream version of custom challenge mode is like twice as many tunable difficulty parameters as we had in GWE2, randomized islands for any biome type, and then like I would even like to see some other like settings like wild animals and being able to choose, what wild animals might appear at the start. I would like it to be like a scenario generator. I would like you to be able to like really come up with like elaborate starting park scenarios with the settings they give you. I think that'd be fun. I also think it'd be really cool to um, make these shareable and make it so you can kind of customize like a starting situation, right? So like if you were able to initialize a few buildings and animals and then like share the park in that starting state so that anybody could like download it through the workshop and then play like through some scenario that you've essentially crafted yourself. I think that'd be sick as fuck. Yeah, the taiga biome does seem pretty bad in theory. The weather seems like it's inverted. like only when weather happens does the snow like change, and then it's really weird. All right. All right, we've got damage specialization and health specialization. Well, I suppose we have technically all 5 of these. I might as well implement them. Base 0, scale 1. Right? It should be 0 and 1, yeah. And these are both ints. Oops. We need an effect to get defined. Permanent downpour setting. It could be interesting. All right, you're leaving, Kral. I'll catch you later. Catch you if you come by for Vane. Now we need to define this. Uh, this is wrong. Buff time. Is this supposed to be percentage? I don't remember how this effect worked. 30, 60, 90% seems insane. But a flat value doesn't make any sense either. This must be percentage. Well, this one's a flat, but this is ticking upward. Well, this is a flat one, so maybe this is an int. I don't know, man. We'll do it as flat. Will Spike Melis be in this game? I don't remember if he was on my current roster. My roster might have been made before the Spyco updates. I'd have to check. Do I have my roster right here in my notes? I might. I got a few different rosters. Yeah, I'd have to go back through and check for like which roster is the one I actually want to use currently. I'll probably just cook up a new roster, honestly, because I don't know anymore which roster I actually really wanted. Yeah, I think my notes literally have like 5 different rosters in them. I should have one that's got like weights included. Yeah, this one. This should be the real roster. No Spike O'Malley's currently. But I also never finished making the roster. So I actually don't have yeah, I don't have my Thyreophorans finalized at all. Other than Anki and Stag, obviously. So there are Thyreophoran slots open for somebody like Spike O'Malley. I was basically going through looking at like length and weight classes, trying to find something optimal for like the vibe of the game in terms of like size categories. I should finish that at some point, but like the full roster is not actually that important. Because like implementing small weight class animals is like a beta thing. That's like a year from now. Okay, damage specialization 0 to 1, 0 to 1, integer, integer. I need to define the effect. This is a training effect. So theoretically, you would like. Are these supposed to be one solid string? Yeah, I guess so. So this would be. Oops. Training. And then there would be like your category. So it would be this would be damage, and then you would have the effect, which is I guess bonus growth and stress reduction. Something like that. Um, Damage training gives an additional 1 point. attribute point generates one less stress. That should be fine. Well, the testing phase is specifically focused on like mechanics, right? So the animal roster for the vertical slice is going to be like 5 animals. And you're hard coded into having only Carnotaurus as your starter. Because the vertical slice is like a minimal look at what the game is like. So there'll be 4, like probably 4 large animals that'll be the AI controlled enemies you'll have to fight in the single tournament and the vertical slice. So there's like no strong consideration for game balance at this phase. We're not looking at anything like what a full roster would look like. It's all just about, you know, essentially being a showcase for the mechanics. There's damage specialization. Yeah, that's just that. Health. I don't know if HP was an internal term. Maybe we'll do health. We should know this from regen, right? Hot. Yeah, I mean, definitely that's what like Ankylosaurids would be your big tanks. Um, and like there probably will be like a Thyreophorine of some kind in the demo, but it's not going to be a small one. It's going to be Ankylosaurus or Stegosaurus, something large scale, because we're just the lightweight animals are deep in development. We're only focusing on heavyweight for this phase. Training health, growth, stress, health training. No spaces are needed there. I mean, it's not strictly weight in the weight class. It is also like size, like length. But yeah, I don't know off the top of my head what a Spicomelis's weight is. So and there's part of it's also vibes based because like every classification of animal that's in the game mechanically needs to be present in both weight classes, which means we need to draw a line in the sand somewhere. And so I don't know if Spicomelis would be a good candidate for a small one. Maybe it would be a large one. I'm definitely skewing like on the safety side of large, right? So I want kind of the largest ones to start with, because I'm not entirely sure where that dividing line on weight class is going to be. It also really doesn't matter. Like, I could call Ankylosaurus whatever I want to call it in the game. I could call it Spicomelis. It would make no difference, especially in the vertical slice. But also you would like to, for the vertical slice stuff to form the basis of the proper like alpha development build. So, all right, defense specialization's done. Yep. That's definitely spelt wrong. Specialization. Specialization. Looks good to me. Damage, accuracy, evasion, defense. Yeah, there's no middleweight. It's just, at least the plan is currently heavyweight and lightweight. So those categories are fairly vague. Like, I don't disagree with your take there that like Barry and Carno would make more sense generally as like a medium weight. But if we break it down that far, we're breaking it down too far, I think. At least that's my current opinion. This could all change in development. We could do medium weights. That could be a thing. Depending on how things play out, there might even be merits to dividing it into finer categories for the sake of having more to the game, right? But I definitely don't want to plan on 3 weight categories, because I do want there to be a different feel to lightweight and heavyweight fights. And so, like, there's no point in implementing a medium weight if I can't succeed in making lightweight and heavyweight feel different, even just subtly different. So I definitely want to like focus on that first. Okay, there's those passives, and then we have stoicism out the gate and hustle. So stoicism. Zero one integer. This is a stress modifier. I guess we'll call this task stress. So for all tasks, reduce stress. All stress gains are reduced by 1, period. Should the T on the be lowercase? This is more of a consideration. The capitalization does have to match, I think, between the name and the variable. I think we'll just leave it capitalized. Who gives a shit? Begin with extra stamina. We'll scale this by, say, 5. Applies to the start of the battle and gives stamina. Do I have? I don't think I have any of these other ones that are like starter things, right? This is for the first X seconds. Seconds. Buffs on bleed. Buff immediate. Recovering health. Should it be a buff? It probably should follow this syntax. Buff immediate stamina? I think so. Do I capitalize game turns? I guess not. Yeah. Start each battle with an extra 5, 10, or 15 stamina. And then lastly, we have hustle. This scales by 10. This scales by a percentage value instead of an integer value. This is a buff immediate to movement. Move an additional X% faster. All right. Well, we gotta add them. Oops. Let's call this hustle here. This is capitalized. Okay. Okay, any spelling errors? Looks good to me, I guess. All right, so back to the genome randomization. We have all our dominant, we have all our passives. Now we need to go through each of the gene slots and fill them in. Um, yeah, I definitely want like a variety of animals in the vertical slice, not just like theropods. So probably Carno and Berry are probably the only theropods we actually put in. The other animals will probably all be different types of herbivores. Honestly, it'll probably end up being like trike stag and a sauropod or something. Although I'm still fence sitting a little bit on how to handle sauropods. Might just focus on the smallest options. It'll be a little weird, but it doesn't really make sense to have like a Carnotaurus fighting an entire Brachiosaurus in an arena. And I can justify the lack of large sauropods in lore. But that is not a current problem to work out, per se. How do I... randomize these optimally. Yeah, Treadnoughtus versus Velociraptor. That definitely would never happen. Velociraptor is not going to be in the game, period, because it's too small. The smallest animals are going to be things like Utahraptor, like properly man-sized theropods in the lightweight class. Okay, so if we triplicate these lists and then shuffle them, that would be the way to do it. And then distribute them. I think so. So we do global.carno attack spread, global.carno passive spread. Can I just do this? Does this just work if I do this? Oops. If I just sum these lists together. Like this. In triplicate. Because that might achieve what I want to achieve here. Show debug message of maybe this. And then we need to implement the genetic info into probably the title screen. Yeah, Dilo is 100% in the game. I know that for sure. Do I know the little-known gem called Dinosaur Hunting the Lost Continent? That sounds vaguely, very, very vaguely familiar. So I'm going to say probably I don't actually know what that is. Now, if we do this, this should just run on this screen. Okay, it crashes. Legal array use. I am not allowed to just sum these arrays. Understandable. Carry on. What is the proper array? Array concat. Takes multiple arrays as an argument, joins them together in the order of the arguments, returns the joined array. Okay. Array concat. Oops. Then we gotta switch these to commas. Oh yeah, I didn't program any gene sequence gaps in. I forgot about those. But those are supposed to be kind of randomized anyway. Okay, it ran. Um, oops. What have I done? No, come back. There it is. Charge, devour, headbutt. Okay, it works. I think. Uh, bull rush, bull rush, bull rush. Yes. Okay, cool. This actually works. So these both exist now. Then we need to shuffle these. How do we shuffle an array? Array underscore shuffle. Array shuffle array. Okay, easy. So I guess this is just array shuffle. Xbox 360 release exclusive to Japan. That's really weird that it'd be an Xbox exclusive title in Japan only. You would think that'd be more of a PlayStation or a Nintendo thing. But I suppose there were probably some Japanese companies working on Xbox exclusives because it would be an opening, right, in an already crowded market. Okay, now if we run this again, we should see a shuffled list. Okay. Charge, devour, headbutt. Is that shuffled? Charge, devour, headbutt, threat display. It does not appear to be shuffled. Do I need to save the array? Yes. We'll do this, we'll keep a bunch of extra stuff floating in memory here for now. We can clear this out later, tighten this up. But for the time being, depending on how I approach this, it might be good to have these other steps to come back to. Spear, tackle, feeding frenzy, headbutt, rend, devour, challenge, roar, bite, spear. Nice. Okay. Very cool. So that works. So now we have our attacks and passes shuffled, and we can just pluck from the start of the list every time we need one. Most stunning and interesting looking dinosaurs in video games for a decade? Interesting. This is Dinosaur Hunting the Lost Con. Let's look it up. Unreleased English version dumped. Huh. 4 years ago. Interesting. Oh, I like that when I click on images, I get some Jurassic World shit that just comes up almost right away, which is funny. Hmm. Might need to look into this sometime. I'll add it to my projects list. Several copies of the English release were given out immediate outlets before the game's cancellation. Very interesting. This was like fully done. Hmm. This freaking ad. Hold on. Very funny. This guy's face. Oops, I closed out the wrong window. Which window did I close? Shit. Looks like I closed the vein window. Fixed it. All right, back to work. Okay. So now we need to populate the genome. How do I want to do this? Shoot that Tyrannosaurus unconscious. Yeah, that's asking a lot. Like, do I go through one by one and fill these in, I guess? Also, I should probably render these as globals. Global.carnotaurus m.chrome1. Let's just do the first one. So chromosome 1 is specifically the base health value and the first passive trait. So we take the 0th entry here. I guess I randomize the starting stat. Can I do a function in the middle of... I should be able to do a function here. Wait. No, because I want to do my own random. I need to remember the function formatting in this game engine. Scripts. Function, name, variables, bracket, indent. Yeah, okay. It's pretty much the same as Python. I just couldn't remember. we take in a value, we want to randomize in a range around that value. Oh, it's like the Dilos spit up stomach acid or whatever. Yeah, that's better. I have my own planned twist on like a Dilophosaurus. It came to me in a dream, which is actually true. Okay, so if this is getting fed a integer value. So I guess if we do random, oops. Function RAM takes one argument. Good for probabilities when turning an integer. It's not necessary. Yeah, we do want like rand ints, maybe? Is that it? Nope. Random get seed, randomize. Maybe, is there like an int rand? Int 64 is int. There's definitely a random function. iRandom? That might be it. Similar to random range, only with integer values as the input. Low end of the range from which the random number will be selected, high end of the range from which the random number will be selected. Output, wait, N1 real, output real, but is it integer outputs? It's integer inputs. Okay, let's vary this by, say, plus minus 10%. If the base is 100, that would be 90 to 110. That seems fine. So we do, so let's do this. Let's do n equals 0.1 times inval. The range is inval minus n, comma, inval plus n. And then we return this. Return n2. Is it just a space? Yes. Okay, then Chrome 1 now becomes rando of 105. Oh, and we need to integer this. So this should be int 64 of whatever that value is. 1/10 of the input value. Let me double check that this was 105 base health. Not that it matters, but you know, might as well check. Oh yeah, I duplicated the tab. That's why one of these is filled out, one isn't. Yeah, 105. Then this becomes an array. Then we want to do a debug message. And check that this worked. Okay, didn't crash, must have worked. Okay, randomized base HP to 113 and gave us an out the gate for the passive. Perfect. I don't think I'm going to tier like the traits or anything early on here, maybe. I think we'll leave it like this. Okay, so this works. This was fine. So now we need to remove the entry from the array. Probably like a pop function or something, array pop. Array pop array, remove the last element in the array and return its value. Oh! Okay. Well, that's way better. So I literally just do array dot pop or array underscore pop. And then this will automatically purge this. Right? Function remove the last element in the given array and return its value. So I don't even put the 0. Yeah, we do this. Okay. Cool. Let's make this just check the male genes in general. And then we do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Chromosome number 2. Whoops. 3, 4, 5. Why does that sometimes pop up a tooltip and sometimes not? 105, the other stats here are 130, 110, 80. And 100. Oh, and I overshot it by 1, but we might as well write this one out. Health growth? Wait. Oh, health base. Yeah, then growth. And these are all passives. Okay. Do I need a new function for randomizing the rates? So the rates default 35323. Three, 5, 3, 2, 3. And if I take 10% of a fraction, it'd be like 1. Wait, does it floor or not? If I do int64, I think it... Let's just run this. This should be somewhat deterred. Like, there's enough data pieces here we should be able to figure this out without having to think about it. Chrome 10, 3 stoicism, Chrome 9, 2 regenerator. Fuck. Chrome 8 is a 3, 5, 3. None of these changed. So I don't think these randomized. So this is probably 0. Let's just do it like this. Um, let's just check the value of n. Pretty sure this is flooring, so these are becoming zeros. Yeah. 10, 13, 11, 8, 10, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So we do if n equals 0, n equals 1. All right, we got a 3 on chromosome 9, a 2 on 10. A 2 on 10 is good, a 3 on 9 is good. Okay, so these are randomizing plus minus 1 essentially across the board. Cool. Okay, that's working. So the first 10 chromosomes are populating correctly. Let's look at the next 10. Actually, let's just copy paste all of this. Traits are not implemented. Hey, Zach, how's it going? Okay, chromosome 11 is a trait. So we'll just do trait 1 as a placeholder until we do the traits. Then passive number 4 is just another one of these. I'm not even sure traits are going to be a thing. Well, we can always go back to these if they don't. All right, 12. Well, 13 and 12. That's going to bother me. We got to put them in the right order. 12 and 13. Chromosome 14. I'm doing pretty good. Making some actual progress on setting up the real genome system here, so I'm happy with this. Okay, lifespan. I don't even know functionally what the lifespan should be. It's maybe like 400-ish. I think we'll just call this rando of 130. Actually, let's do it like this. Rando 150. Lifespan is another thing that doesn't really matter that much right now. So we'll do 150, we'll do 100, and we'll do 120. 130. So 3 different components of lifespan getting randomized. 30 years, no, it's got to be shorter just for the way the gameplay function works. So we're probably talking a few years. They're like genetically engineered dinosaurs anyway, so it's perfectly fine that they have very short accelerated lifespans. Probably like 4 years if you take care of them good. Maybe even less. Maybe like a year, ignoring like hatch time or whatever, kind of. I don't know. We'll worry about the exact passage of time later. But the point is, you should be raising multiple dinosaurs from birth to old age in a playthrough. So they can't be living 30 years apiece if you're raising 4 dinosaurs, because then you'd be 120 years old. And these are all passives, so this is just this again. Yeah, we're spreading out the chromosome spread for our demo Carnotaurus Zach. So we're the animal's got 64 chromosomes or whatever, 48 chromosomes, and each chromosome controls two different like qualities of it in terms of the gameplay, like the rate at which stats grow, the base stats, the different passive effects and active attacks it can have access to. These are all part of the gene sequence, basically. So we're just writing up code here to like randomize these effects. And since this is like a animal raising sim game partially, things like lifespan, stress are relevant. Okay, now we have bonus stat and bonus stat growth. So we need to pick a random thing from like a list. So let's do this. We'll define stats equal so it gets a bonus to a particular stat, and then it gets a bonus to a particular stat's growth rate. Hmm. I think, yeah, okay. I think I know how I want to do this. We want to pick a random from an array. There's probably a function for this. Pick from array. Choose one random object from an array. Use item one, irandom, array length. That's very, I mean, that's not that complicated. Choose. Choose a random value from the arguments you pass it. Oh, okay. Choose works. This doesn't need to be an array. Okay. So we just kill this. Okay. So chromosome 17 is choose. And then we just put this inside the choose. Let's leave this. Actually, this could be deleted. Oops. So we choose an attribute. Bonus stat growth. We need a value too. So I guess we just double array this. Then we do rando of like 10. So this is between 9 and 11 for a stat bonus. Close that bracket, do this bracket, then do another passive on the other part of the chromosome. That. Chromosome 18 does not scale. This is +1 to growing a particular stat. So this does not get nested. We just do that. Chromosome 19 is base attack. This is hard-coded as kick. And then another passive. Oh, this is the first. Hold on. Is this the first flex slot? I need to consider how to handle the flex slot specifically. Okay, this is the first flex slot. How do I want to code this? There's also the fact that I need to know whether or not it's an attack rate passive for these slots, I think. I think we do this. I random range from 0 to 1. I could run out of passives or attacks. All right, I'm going to do this a bunch to make sure. Oops. To make sure this picks between 0s and 1s. Yeah, okay. That works the way I expected to. That is correct for a binary choice. Now, what do I do when those arrays start depleting? Because at some point, array pop will fail and the code will crash. Let me think about how to implement this. I'm going to go grab a drink. I'll be right back. I would like to finish this tonight. I think I do it as a variable, and then I can modulate it. So what if I do it like this? A comma B. A equals 0. B equals 1. This should be a function. Function the picker. Input value is irrelevant. If array length halves of spread 2, if it's 0, but we're doing less than 1 in case of, well, it can never be negative. If array length of attack spread is 0, B is 0. These are both 0, should never happen. A1, B0. Twitter's getting even more openly racist. Is such a thing even possible? Okay, so the pick is a random value between the range of the two, which returns 0 or 1 typically, and then if a list is full, it will return either 0 or 1, depending on which list has been depleted. And if we return, do I want to do this? No, I can do this internally. Yeah. Okay, this goes inside here. If the pick which should work as logic. So if 1 is an attack, 0 is a passive. Wait. Well, it doesn't matter which one's which, because this was for flex anyway. So yeah, we just do, well, this matters. Yeah. So A becomes 1. Okay, so if there's no passives left, A is 1, B is 1, this returns 1. So if the pick, this should be an attack. Return, right? This should work. This syntax, I think, functions. And then else, we return a passive. And now this just becomes picker. Chromosome 19. Show debug. Run it. It did not crash. That is a very good sign. Checking the output. Chromosome 19 is the interesting one. We got kick, and we got a value of 100,034. What in the fuck? Okay. Oh, is this unreachable code? If not the pick, why is that unreachable? Wait, what? Okay, why does else not work? Unexpected else expression. Else any. Oh, is it? Yeah. My bad. This would be all much more readable if we indented this. There we go. Okay, output is defense 11 aggressive, kick 100,034 again. How is it 100,034? Oh, this is a variable, a value that's stored as picker. I think because we didn't put the parentheses there, so it doesn't recognize it as a function. That's my mistake. Okay, now it crashed. Error in action number 1 of create event. Unable to convert string pierce to number. String pierce to number. So that was an attack. Why is it trying to convert it to a number? Is return explicitly That should, I don't understand. This might be something about return in GameMaker. Return. You can only use the return statement in script functions and methods and use to return a value from a function to be used in further code or function calls. We know that the execution of the function ends at the return statement. Return 0, return value times value. I think it's trying... Yeah, I think this might be that it... Can't do a string? Let's test this. If I just say return 1, return 2. If this doesn't crash, this still crashes. Okay, so that's not the problem. What the fuck? I don't... Line 188 crashes? Is it because the array popped? Oh, because X is an explicit variable. X is an explicit variable. We can't use X because it's reserved. That's why it's green. Literally, it's a physical coordinate value. Hey, Biocraft, welcome to the stream, at least temporarily. We're plugging away at the game. There we go. Okay, make sure chromosome 19 populated correctly because it's been giving us trouble. Chromosome 19, kick, comma, extended horns. It fucking worked. Okay, great. So this picker function works. So this handles every flex pick, theoretically. Okay, so that's chromosome 19. Chromosome 20, now we're on to guaranteed attacks on chromosome 20. So chromosome 20 is this syntax here. Except instead of array popping the passives, we're array popping the attacks. Attack underscore spread 2, yes. Okay, so we pull something from the attack list, and then we do picker second for those chromosomes. So gene 1, gene 2, these are the same all the way through to chromosome 37. So 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. I said 37, right? Yeah. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, and 37. Oops. All right, 37 genes complete, or 37 chromosomes. Double that for genes. Now we have stamina rate. What is our default? Do I have that recorded? Stamina rate is a 3. This might be something we don't want to technically vary that dramatically. But for now, we'll just do it. This is rando of 3. Three, 7, 1.25. Oops. Three, 7. Yeah, I guess that's fine. 3, 7, and this will do is 125. And then we'll just divide it out. It's much easier because we're rounding by integers. Wouldn't make any. This isn't actually a float value, but it's easier just to keep the integer code and do it that way. And these are all flexes in the second slot. We got Lamarckian values. These are zeros. These are unused until we get to breeding or DNA recombination or whatever. (41). This is a hard 0. These are all flexes. Why did it do that again? (42), 43, 44, and 45. Chromosome 46 is length. This is unused in the demo because this is hard-coded. And I'm probably not going to bother changing it. We'll just do like this so that like these are still like this functions better as a placeholder to remember what these are. Length and weight, and then demeanor. Stress, whatever. I think we'll leave this hard-coded too. This can just be standard demeanor. Okay. Let's test it. Looks good, no crashes. Okay. Suppress the debug. Now we copy this. We do it for the female contribution. Which in this case is identical to the male contribution. Which means I don't have to really necessarily repeat this. Oops, 48. I think we will repeat it though. Okay, so we need to do We need to reshuffle. So these still exist. So we just redo these. Yes. Reshuffle. Reshuffle and repopulate these lists. Rerun all this stuff. Except this is all Carnotaurus F. I probably could have cooked a function for this, and then fed it male and female rather than hard code this, but the ship has sailed. There's no point in making a function now, because half of it's done already. Okay. Let's show the debugs. Actually, let's debug for both male and female now. Make sure these are different. Maybe I can dump these to a text doc. Control C, Control V. Okay. That is not remotely formatted. 2 start strong, trait 1, paralysis resist 2, paralysis resist trait 1. 86, 102, 4, 4, 3, 3, 3, 4, 5, 2, 91, 82. Okay, these are different. Start strong, paralysis resist stoicism. Paralysis resist serrated teeth regenerator. Shake off tail slap, tail slap. It looks good to me. I think it worked. Sure. I believe it's correct. Okay, and now, okay, so we got the male genome, we got the female genome. Now we need to handle the actual proper gene expression. Which means we do, how do we, I know what we have to do. I'm just mostly hung up on how to do it optimally. We can pre-calc everything. It doesn't need to be dynamically calculated. So if we have like, C for child, I guess. Uh, Actually, let's put this up at the top. This is out of the way. Call it spawn. Okay, so to generate the value for the chromosome, number 1 is a random number, so this would be this. I think we can do this much better. Let's call this av. Function av chrom. What this does is this goes to Carnotaurus male and female. It'll extract there's a different way to set this up. Let's check this. I need a thing. I need a syntax. Let's make sure I get it correct here. This. Global.attacks. Yes. Should be like this. Genome, genetic info. So if we do this is whatever this is. Crom. Yeah. So we've got chromosome 1. By feeding that's 1. We want to take the 0th index. That should work. Integer value. Return it. Should return the average of these two functions. So now all I should have to do here is set average of 1. Average of 1 comma 0. Chromosome and index. Well, we never, second slot never is done. This is always a passive or a picker. This is never a number, ever. Okay, yeah, no, just leave the hard-coded zeros. These are fine. Excuse me. Let's keep these other debugs, but we change this to .chrome1. Make sure this works out the way it oughta. Chrome1, Chrome1. We average together the numeric values. For chromosome 1. And then we have to pick the dominant gene or whatever for 2. So we need another function here. Function. We'll do just called DOM check of a chromosome. So now we're being fed, specifically for chromosome 1, we're being fed passives. They shouldn't really care which one it is. So we got V1 and V2. V1 is global.carnotaurusm.chrome1 1. And 2 is the female chromosome. Now we need to know if these are dominant or passive. These are the list of the dominants and passives. So we do what's the optimal setup here? I think we can do this numerically, right? Evaluate DOM versus recessives. Value 1 for DOM, 0 for recess. So 0 equals 2 recessive, 1 equals 1 DOM, 1 recess, 2 equals 2 DOM. So we do if V1, okay, let's do it like this. V1C equals 0, V2C equals 0. This is the recessive check. So these are both flagged as being recessive by default. And then we check the dominant list. So if V1 in, does in work? Let's see, check if GameMaker, check if in array. Array contains. Array contains array and value. Returns a Boolean. Okay. So if array contains, so we don't even call if. This is array, nope, contain. Array contains, we do dominant. No, this does stay, this does stay it. Yeah, if array contains dominant, or if 1 or 1, this should work, right? Okay, so if 1 or 1, if 0, I would assume this should work. So if either of these returns 1, if this value is a dominant thing, and then we do this, we do v1c equals 1. And this should be the array comma the value, right? Yeah, so this should be v1, v1. And if it's in neither, it's recessive, so that stays 0. Then we do another check. This is v2. We return v2c1. Let's do this. Show debug value v1c. Show debug v2c. Okay. Now we do if v1c plus v2c equals 2. If it's 2, they're both dominant. We pick one at random. My random range is inclusive. So we do a value of 0 or 1. Or we do choose. No, let's do choose. Choose v1 or v2. Choose v1 or v2. And this is stored call this out. The output is one of the two. And if there's 0, it's also either one because they're recessive. Are elifs a thing in this? No, they're not. Okay, yeah, then we just do another check like this, I guess. So v1 plus v2 is 1. Only one of these is 1. So then we just nest another if check, I guess is probably the easiest way to do this. If v1c equals 1. And out becomes v1, and if v2c is 1, out becomes v2c, or v2. At the very end of the function, we just return out. Now, this function can break as currently coded. Let's just make this greater than 1. Just cuz. This should work. Error, assignment operator expected, line 384. Oh, yeah, there's a floating comma here. I never finished this line. Fair. We called this a DOM check. So this is DOM check of 1. Is that correct? Chromosome. Oh, this is hard-coded currently. Male and female. This should be this syntax. Wait, what? Assignment operator expected. Have one DOM check 1. I don't see the failure point. Oh. This is missing for some reason. Oh, these aren't even supposed to be here. So the bug was not even, the error message wasn't even for what I fixed. That was a different thing. Just happened to like catch a different error. Okay, we got a crash. Variable name Carnotaurus index. Yeah, that's not a thing. That's a typo. Carnotaurus male. Carnotaurus female. Simple typo. Okay, we got to the title screen. Let's check the output logs. So we rolled a 110 smell of blood and 109 osteoderms. This flipped a 0 and a 1 on the readout. Oh, do I not have the output? Smell of blood is in fact recessive, and osteoderms is not. Yeah, I didn't have the debug message for the final output to make sure that's correct. Show debug message. Carnotaurus spawn Chrome 1. That's fine. Okay, 108 and 99 became 103. Plus 4 minus 5. That looks good. Damage spec and extended horns. 0 and a 1. It came out extended horns. Let's look at it. I think that's right, though. Dominant, extended horns, correct. Damage specialization was recessive. One more check. Fear resistant and aggressive, two dominant traits. We got aggressive back. Now, does that make, is that correct? Should that have been aggressive? I mean, it's random, but like, one and one. So this would trigger. They would not sum 0. They would not sum 1, so none of this should happen. Maybe I should put some debug messages in here just to make sure. Show debug message sum 2. Show debug message sum 1. I'm pretty sure this is working. I just want to be very, very sure. Show debug message. Oh, this is sum 1, sum 0. I'm being like overly careful. Yeah, 1 and 1, sum of 2, out the gate, quick recovery. We've rolled quick recovery, which was the second trait. Is that? No, these are just coin flips. So this is explicitly coming from choose. It should be good. We'll just suppress these. No reason to delete them. Okay. Showing debug message for V1 and V2. We don't need to see this. I wouldn't mind doing a full comparison on the genomes. So I guess I'll leave those there. Oops. Like that. Okay, and then we need the template again, so let's do this. This should come together pretty quick, I think. So, 1 through 10 are all numbers and passives. So this should be all the same. Why does it inconsistently pop up? That is annoying. I probably could have formatted this slightly better too, but it's fine. Seven, 8, 9, 10. Now these are the traits. These are currently not implemented. And probably won't be implemented in the slice anyway. Trait 1, 2, 3. $11, $12, and $13. 14, 15, and 16 are the same syntax here. Thirteen, 14, 15, 16. Now 17 and 18 are different. "17" is the bonus stat. 17 is the only nested array. We'll call these G1 and G2, I guess. G1 and G2, chromosome 17. We're looking for index 0. Let's just copy a chromosome 17 from up here. And 18. The rest of these are all picker array pops. These should be fine. G1 and G2. I guess we do G1N, G2N, 0, 0. So these are attribute names. So Chrome 17 should be choose G1N, comma, G2N, comma, and then average which is not functional. Not functional in the sense of this function, I mean. So this can be this. So chromosome 17 for the male, 0, 1. Chrome 17, 0, 1 for the female. Summed, divided by 2, and then integerized. Then, yeah, this is a dominance check on the second half here with 17. That should be right. Okay. So picking one of the values, and then... Oh, this should be not averaged. No, this can be averaged. Well, no, it shouldn't be. Yeah, let's do this the right way. Okay. The winner gets chosen from here, like this. And now this is winner 0. Comma winner 1. Wait. Oh yeah, no. This is just straight up. Okay, no, this is way better because this doesn't get averaged. This shouldn't be averaged. This should just be straight winner. Which is already an array. Right? We're taking gene 17, we're extracting the first half, we're picking one of them at random from the male and the female, and we're propagating that to the child. Yes. So the winner goes here, dom check 17 for the secondary gene, and that's it. No, that should be, yeah, that's all it is. That's way simpler. Okay. And then 18 is actually we can just do the same like shit. Chromosome 18, 0 entry. Now this is not an array, but it's not supposed to be an array. We pick the winner value, propagate the winner value. Done. And that's 18. Okay. Chromosome 19 is essentially hard-coded because we're not randomizing kick. So this is string capital K kick, dom check 19. Then we have the attack ones. So this is double dom check. Wait, how does this work? Hold on. Oh, this is always taking slot 2. Right. Okay. I'm just going to do it really, really sloppily and just define a new function. Which is dom check 2. Because, fuck it. And this is the 0th entry. And this is chromosome 20. This continues through to chromosome 37, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, and 37. It's 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, and 21. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 1, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, and 37. Okay. Chromosome 38. Chromosome 38 is back to averaging values together. This is a stamina rate. So this should just be another AV. Average 38, dominance check 38. Yes, and these are all solid numbers, so this is fine. Same with 39 and 40. And 39. Chromosomes 41 and forward are hard-coded at 0 for Lamarckian genes, which are not relevant to the vertical slice, but are a core feature of the full game. That's your generational mechanic. So that's 41, 42, 43, 44, and 45. 42, 43, 44, and 45. Chromosome 46, 47, and 48. Also partially placeholder. Height, weight, and the demeanor, for lack of another term. "46, 47, and 48. And we are theoretically done. Let's run it and look for bugs. Typos, really. And then I'm going to parse my logs off stream at some point to make sure every gene propagated in the way I expect it to. Because the formatting is gross, so I need to clean that up. What happens if I dump it to a spreadsheet? Weird. Well, whatever. I can format this later. All right. It looks good to me, though. It looks like it worked out. I need to update my GitHub soon. And probably export a backup somewhere else altogether. Third safety place, but whatever. 25th backup saved. Okay, that's gonna be it for the stream. We went longer than I was expecting given my late start, but I'm very happy with where we're leaving off here. So we've implemented the randomized genome for the player's creature based off 2 simulated parent contributions in terms of chromosomes. The next thing to do, which actually shouldn't be that hard, is we take the hard-coded values for the animal that we currently have, and we replace those with the equivalent values coming out of the now generated genome, so that every time you're playing with a different randomly generated creature in the demo. Then once that's done, we got to tie that to the level up stuff properly. We got to implement not just passive selection, but attack selection. And then implement a method of building an attack set for use in battle. So that's a whole new UI element we have to make. But I kind of have a vision in my head already of like how that looks, so that shouldn't be that hard to do. We'll probably do it without a UI. It'll just be floating buttons and text elements. Because like I have the vision of how I want it to look, I think, but I don't have like a vision of the actual UI, right? Like I know, where the buttons are going to be, what the pieces are going to be, but I don't visually know how they ought to look in a way that's like clean. So yeah.